What's up everybody, this is Scott. Welcome back to another video. It is another comparison video, as you've probably already noticed by the two different camera angles. In today's video, this is the OnePlus 8T, which is what you see right there, versus the Pixel 5, which is what you see right there. So this is the battle of a phone that's roughly about $700, somewhere between $699 for the Pixel 5 and $750 for the OnePlus 8T. Now, if you come here for this whole spec battle comparison, I'm gonna give you a little bit of specs, but not a whole lot. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there. In this video, I wanna talk about, what you see right here when you get from a comparison of the camera, the video, point and shoot, portrait, you name it, that's what I'm trying to go for. Now let's talk about the OnePlus a little bit. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen. The screen is absolutely beautiful. It is 1080p in terms of the screen, so basically the same resolution on the Pixel 5 as it is with the 8T. It's got that hole punch design that you see in the upper left-hand corner like you do with the regular Pixel. Got a really good battery life as well, so I've only had it a few days to where I can really put it through the paces from a battery life perspective, but the battery life seems to be pretty good as well. Got that quad camera on the back, but let's really just call it just a two camera shooter because that macro is kind of bleh, and as well it's got that depth sensor that will help with the portrait mode. So really it's the wide and ultra wide like you would get on the regular as well. It is a quad camera lens on the back, but I mean, let's be real here, it's really not that because the macro is boo-boo. Comes with Android 11 on the OnePlus with the Oxygen OS, which is actually my second favorite Android skin, the first being from the Pixel 5, and basically anything Google makes from that perspective, that's my favorite. No IP rating on this, although the one, if you get branded T-Mobile, has the ability to do IP rating. I guess you could dunk it in water. I'm not gonna do that, but go for it if that really tickles your fancy. So yeah, those are all the specs. If you watched all my other Pixel videos, essentially the same thing. The RAM is different. It's got 8 gigs of RAM in the Pixel 5, whereas the OnePlus has the ability to have 12 gigs of RAM. The one that I have has 12 gigs of RAM, but it does have the ability to have 8 as well. So yeah, specs, go check out the videos if you want to see the specs, but watch this one first. So now with the specs out of the way, let's talk about what you're seeing right here. On the front facing screen, this is a 1080p 30 frames a second out of both. Neither one of these phones have the ability to do 4K on the front facing selfie camera. So everything that you see right here, 1080p 30 frames a second. How does it look? How does the dynamic range look? I can tell you right here as I stop and I look up at the sky, right here, in camera or in smartphone on the Pixel 5, I look better in camera right here. There's actually blue sky right here, it kind of cuts in and out, whereas this right here on the OnePlus, completely blown out, which is something that I noticed. I was watching Kevin the Tech Ninja's review of this particular device, and he had talked about how the front-facing selfie camera on some of the stills really blew out the area, and you can kind of see in camera right now what that looks like. I'm gonna dip my glasses, and yeah, it looks like right now the OnePlus really struggles with the white balance. It's like from that perspective. So that's where I gotta go and lean towards the Pixel when it comes to the front-facing camera. So again, how's the stabilization look? I'm gonna walk a little bit here. Stabilization, honestly, on both looks pretty good. So I gotta say that on the front-facing camera, from that perspective, I gotta give it as a complete tie from a stabilization perspective. But that white balance problem, ooh-wee. Gonna lean Pixel 5 on this. So now let's flip it around because on the back, both have the ability to do 4K. So let's flip it, talk about that there. Okay, so this is 4K, 30 frames a second on just the regular standard wide lens. Both of these have the ability to do the ultra wide as well as the 2x zoom, and I'm gonna show that here in a second. But how does this look? I'm gonna take my glasses off and kind of look in camera here. At first glance, and it could just be from a screen resolution perspective, at first glance, I tend to like the color a little bit more of the grass in the OnePlus, but the detail in the Pixel 5 seems to be a little bit better for me. I'm gonna walk around here a little bit more. Check out that stabilization. How does the stabilization look? You can see right now the white balance really struggled, and it's gotten significantly darker, at least in camera, on the OnePlus. That's where that white balance problem really sticks up. Again, going to go back here, look at that. So just to try to make it a little bit more fair, I suppose, I'm not going to go to the problematic area right there. I'm going to go to walk, I guess, to this tree right over there in front of me. So how does the stabilization look? Now what I want to do is do the ultra wide. So I'm going to switch to the ultra wide in both. How does this look from an ultra wide perspective? Now let's walk a little bit. Now I should mention that I'm using a switch pod. Both of these phones are side by side in comparison to one another. So everything that you see is as even as I could possibly get. Take a look at the stabilization. How does it look? Honestly, in camera, both of these look fantastic when it comes to a stabilization perspective. I really, really like the idea that regardless of the phone itself, stabilization looks great. Now, let's pause here. I'm gonna go wide, wide. By the way, I love that you can do that in camera when it's recording on both. Let's go to 2x zoom on this group of trees right here in front, and I'm gonna walk towards the end of that tree right there. How does the stabilization look? Both look phenomenal. Both have lost some detail, obviously, with 2x, mostly because it's all software game at this point. But from a stabilization perspective, again, the Pixel 5 Black Magic, but now let's flip it around, walk back uphill a little bit. Stabilization on the Pixel 5 is better, but that's only because the stabilization is completely ridiculous on that. But on the OnePlus 8T, it's no slouch either. So leave a comment on which one you feel is the best. Tag it with, I don't know, hashtag Team Pixel if the Pixel 5 did better, or hashtag Team OnePlus if the stabilization was better on one of those phones. Now this is the Pixel 5 versus OnePlus 8T on 4K 60 frames a second. Look, I can tell you immediately, I can see there's a huge difference from a stabilization perspective. This is no question in the Pixel 5's favor. It's not terrible on the OnePlus 8T. It's just that you can definitely see at 4K 60 frames a second, the stabilization just isn't there like it is on the Pixel 5. I'll have a video coming out in the next time about the 4A 5G, but spoiler alert, not a huge difference there either. Let's swing around and walk back this way. Again, I'm just walking in an open field. One thing I noticed also on the OnePlus 8T, you don't have the ability to do 2x zoom in like you do on the Pixel 5. So there I just zoomed in a little bit and I'm gonna walk towards that same group. Now I have 2x zoom on the Pixel 5 and you don't have the ability to do that on the OnePlus, but still, look at the stabilization that's out of the Pixel 5 there. Unbelievable. Let me just go ahead and get this right out of the way. There are going to be those folks that leave a comment like, well, yeah, but the OnePlus could be a lot better if you loaded Gcam on it. I'm not going to do that. Mostly because I want to use what is out of the box from one versus what is out of the box on the other. Yes, you can load Gcam on the OnePlus and it will make the cameras better, but I'm not going to do that because most consumers would not do that, in my personal opinion. That's kind of a YouTube tech guy type situation that you do, or tech gal, I suppose, is load Gcam on the OnePlus, and I'm not down with that because I really want to see apples to apples. With that being said, let's go take some shots and you can start to see the difference between both of these devices. I think you're going to be surprised by the OnePlus, but probably not surprised that, for the most part, the Pixel's going to come out on top. I'm taking a look at the pictures in camera. I gotta say, when you have the right lighting, man, the OnePlus does nail it. It looks great. I thought the portrait mode on the Pixel was better. I thought the dynamic range was better. I thought the white balance was way off. If you look at the clouds on that portrait shot behind me, it almost completely lost the fact that there were clouds in the sky because it just came out white. Whereas the Pixel actually did a pretty good job, in my personal opinion, of really showing that there was depth there, that there's actually clouds in the sky. It's not just some massive white blob. I mean, I get it that it's Ohio, but geez, it's not that bad, OnePlus. My God, I get it. I live in Ohio, but it's not nearly as bad as what it's kind of making out to be when you look like right now. Like when you start to look right here, man, it just kind of blows things out. So just the video, in my personal opinion, is better on the Pixel 5 because of that. Now that doesn't say that OnePlus is super bad or anything like that. It does its job, it does it really, really well. But for me, if it's $50 less, I just get new feature drops. Yes, Oxygen OS is, in my opinion, the second best Android skin behind the Pixel. For me personally, I'm gonna choose the Pixel because I'm gonna save a little coin. Battery life on both are fantastic. It's just, for me, I like the experience better on the Pixel. I find that the camera on the OnePlus is definitely not nearly as good as the Pixel. So if I'm keeping track, especially in this video, I'm thinking point shoot, pretty close when the lighting is right. More often than not, the Pixel's gonna nail it. Video, gotta go with the Pixel. I haven't heard what the microphone sounds like on the OnePlus, but I know on the Pixel it sounds good, so I will leave some sort of written word across the screen to let you know whether I personally believe that the OnePlus sounds like, or also you could leave a comment, see which one you like the best. So yeah, at the end of the day, for $50 less, even though there's a little bit better hardware in the OnePlus, I'm still taking the Pixel experience. So yeah, that's what I got. Quick shout outs to my two little guys over at GB Gaming, that is Green Bunch Gaming. I'll make sure that I will leave a link in the description for their channel. I actually ran into them here at the park, which was really, really cool. So go over there, check out their channel, leave them a nice comment, tell them that we sent you over from Technically Speaking. So that's it, that's all I have. As always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below, and we will see you next time.